shit for nothing. No, not at all. You, but my money ring, that you do. Oh yeah, so I don't do this shit for nothing.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
All right. What's going on, beautiful people? Thank you for returning back to my channel, The Root Wave. In this episode, I have Anthony. Thank you so much for being on the channel. Please tell us where we can find you, and then tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
How's it going, guys? My name is Anthony Anderson. I am a professional drummer, influencer. I'm just born and raised from the Bronx, and you can find me all over Instagram. You can Instagram is anthony.anderson.drums, and yeah.
Well, thank you, Anthony. I'm going to put all that information on the screen when I edit the video and post the interview, and then I'm also going to put it down on the comment section below so people can check you out, because I have you on the channel today. You are an influencer. You are someone that I look up to, that I've learned about you in the last couple of months, and I've just been, I got to speak to you because there's just some energy that you're giving off that's so needed in this time, and it's something that I am also trying to do for myself, for my audience as well. So I really appreciate that. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do in regards to your music and your movement, please?
So I've been playing drums since I was 9 years old. So at that time, really, is just more of just like a connection. I say mainly because I got it from my dad, self-taught. So anything from there just kind of just elevated and was just, I guess you can say, natural born talent for most people would want to say. So drums, I pretty much caught on really quick. From the most part, I've been playing in different bands, and I've been in a lot of marching band. Majority of my drumming, I usually started from marching band and from concert band into being in my own individual bands, and to even now. Right now, I'm I would say 2 years in for my solo career. So that whole transition was a whole different experience that I've never really thought that can really happen for me. So coming out of a band and that transitioning of just devoting and putting your time and energy for like years, because we all know, like, when you're in a band, when you're in a group, you're dedicating yourself and time, and it's pretty much like a family. So from that, it's 2 years in from my solo career, just been performing with different artists, musicians, DJs, even to the point where I'm rebranding myself and restructuring my life to the betterment of what now I feel that I have control over now. You know?
Right. Now tell me a little bit about, because you put a post that I love. One of the posts is when you show I don't know how many years ago, and then now. Yeah. It's like a before and after. I love that picture, and I hope to maybe put something up myself the same way, because, even though in both pictures you see that confidence coming out, you do see on the after a whole different energy coming out, right? Because you've I guess you could say you were reborn again into this whole movement of influencing and creating your music and really putting something behind you. I want you to explain to us a little bit about that process, because a lot of what I'm doing is trying to capture that, because a lot of people do not understand that you're a regular person like you and we're regular people. We're just extra humans here like everyone else. Nothing really makes us different except the fact that we've put down those walls where we can be confident in ourselves and really develop something for ourselves. Tell us a little bit about what it took to actually make that transformation and that leap to actually build something for yourself.
It took a lot, honestly. It all starts with believing in yourself. Just really just having the confidence and knowing what it's like to just hold yourself accountable for stuff, and knowing what, not besides being wrong and right, but also knowing what you're worth. A lot of that it comes with self-belief. And to be real with you, a lot of the times, especially with me as a kid, I was antisocial. I didn't talk to anybody. I was always even that way with my own family. So I lived in a house with just a lot of us all in one house. But I was just that one person, that one individual who just was just not closed-minded, but just kept to himself, kept his space. And if it wasn't action figures, if it wasn't wrestling, if it wasn't music, that's what closed me in to recreate myself, to know, like, if you want to do something in life, all of that, of what you have to go through in your time of where you're living, it's all to just restructure yourself, for sure.
Right. I mean, it's very important for one to actually look within yourself and say, I can't be the same person forever. I mean, I think a lot of people, I also notice that they're comfortable knowing that who they are now, and then still not being able to fulfill themselves, and then being comfortable with the fact that maybe they'll be the same person in 40 years. And
Right,
I
exactly.
think it's very important that as you grow and move along in life, you have to constantly be changing and improving yourself. It's constantly
Right.
fine tuning yourself to get what you want and get where you're going. Because if not, you're gonna stay in the same spot. You don't change, I can guarantee you'll be the same person in 40 years, and
For
you'll be in
sure.
the same place. So I really appreciate that you said that, because it's very important that I want people to see this and say, you know what, it's true. I should have reevaluate what I'm doing. Am I happy with what I'm doing? Is this where I want to be in 25, 10, 20 years? And yeah, it's very important. You did mention something about when you started that I believe you said your father helped you with the drum set.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it really it was my reaction towards his music to just start playing. You know, I was hitting on pots and pans and surfaces in the house, and it really just it caught his attention.
Mm.
Caught his attention to the point where he got a little drum set for me, and within those times of just connecting with him, and just sitting down and him teaching me something, was really what captivated me,
Mm.
for sure.
Yeah, because another thing that I really like to emphasize, I'm a father of 3 kids, and over the years, my children are over the age of 9. Over the years, I realized that I've changed a lot, and because I've changed a lot, I've influenced them now,
Yeah.
and I'm grateful for that, because if I didn't change that, my children wouldn't be where they are now. And I mean that in a sense of, I went from not being the best person to now being the better person that I always wanted to be, and I see that influence. And I wanted to bring that up because I think a lot of people that are going to watch this do have children, and I think it's very important now in this time with the information era and everything that we have and access to in our hands, to actually put stuff in front of our children, not only to learn or to inspire them and influence them, but also to teach them how to constantly be working on themselves and improving themselves and seeing opportunity within what it is that they enjoy and what they want for their future.
I agree. And speaking of that, with that being said, I didn't have that really with him. It was cut short.
Right.
It was cut short with the time of, I was 9 years old. So, as a kid, we can only remember and do so much.
Mhm.
And at that time, with him teaching me and him actually spending time to be a dad, to teach me something, and to me really be into it and just learning it, from there, it was cut short. And I felt like, why do I have to continue this?
Mm.
It was mainly because of that moment where I didn't want to lose that moment. And every time I play the drums right now, I think of literally just that time we've had together.
Right.
Or if it was like little moments, or even if I can like look at the lights in like a venue and then just pretty much think of him.
Right.
Or I know that he's watching.
Right. So
Things like that.
he planted the seed, which is important. It's just as
Right.
important. I mean, obviously you would want someone to plant the seed and take care of it and make it grow, and then, fine trim it and everything. But the seed is important. Do you mind if I ask what happened with your father?
He was an alcoholic,
Hmm.
and at the time, him and my mom was abused to drugs
Hmm.
and alcohol. So I guess you could say at that time it was the '80s. So we all know what was like in the Bronx.
Right.
Uh, his liver exploded pretty much,
Mm.
and that was it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I
No, I know it's
yeah.
it's real.
No, it's real because I'm gonna share a little something now that you shared. I want to share too, and I usually don't share my personal stuff on the interviews. But
Right.
I came to this country, and I really don't have family here. All my family's about 3,000 miles away.
Wow.
But there was one man in my life who was my grandfather, who until this day, and he's been dead since '89.
Wow.
Who's He died when I was 5. Who instilled and planted that seed in all of us, but more so me because I was the first grandson.
Okay.
And I have to say that everything that I do until this day is because of that man, and I only
Wow.
got to experience him for 5 years. So everything that you see here, this integrity that I'm trying to build, is literally from that man and that little seed that was planted. So a big reason why I wanted to have this discussion as well is to show these people out here who may have kids or are gonna have children in the future to say, yo, imagine that little seed that was planted for Anthony, for Esteban, how that influenced, and imagine somebody that not only plants the seed but continues to grow it for their children. It's gonna go a long way for not only them but for the family in whole. So I feel like that
Wow.
I'm
That,
happy.
that
Yeah.
it hit home for sure. Damn,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Wow.
it does because that's all I have. Like I literally, that's it. And then now it's become an inspiration of I want to leave this earth
Yeah.
with some type of legacy. And I don't
Right.
care if it's just my children or just the Bronx. I mean, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I just wanted someone to say, yo, that moment inspired me, or that person really put me in a place of looking at things from a different perspective so that way I can be a better person.
For sure. I agree with that for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So now let's talk a little bit about the ups and downs of your career. Because I know that the art world, the music world, all that stuff is very complicated. I've
Oh
been in
yeah.
a little bit of all of it my whole life, and I'm always like in and out because I'm just like I can't deal with the nonsense. But tell me a little. Let's start first with what's been the best parts of your career so far.
I can never forget this moment. I would say being able to travel for the first time, be on a plane for
Mm.
sure. I was afraid of planes since 9/11.
I'm still afraid.
And yeah, me too. But when I've gotten the opportunity to go to Africa, Rwanda, Africa,
Whoa.
yeah, dude,
Wow.
it elevated me. It made me change my life twice, actually, 2 years in a row,
Mm.
and definitely compelled and took so much. I took so much in from the people, the food, the energy, the scenery, the surrounding embraced me to just really just open my eyes and just take home and cherish life,
Mhm.
cherish everything to the point where, we take so much for granted here at home, here in America, and it definitely made me appreciate people, accept certain things, open my eyes to so much, even energy. I never really understood the term of energy
Mhm.
and what that really meant as involving humans,
Mhm.
So I took that in and I really had to learn from that. Took my own research and just learned from just the culture to even what happened within the genocide that happened in Rwanda.
Mhm.
And it made me a whole complete different person, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's important to be humbled,
Right.
like to really
Yeah.
humble yourself. Like, I mean, some people think they know what humble means, but
Yeah.
it's really, once it hits you in the face, it really hits you in the face, and it's hard to let go of that feeling of like, yo, I gotta appreciate what I got, no matter what I've been through. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about some of the struggles of your side of the business.
The side of the business, I mean, every day is a struggle.
Mhm.
Every day for the normal artists or just artists, musicians in general is a struggle. Whether it's, putting up life like a job, sacrificing things, investing in yourself, money, all of that. It's a struggle on an everyday basis. With me, I would say the biggest struggle that I personally had to deal with was a departure from the band that I was recently in about 2 years ago, and I devoted my time 4 years in from being the leading be from being one of the leading members in the band to eventually leaving.
Mhm.
And it wasn't just based off it wasn't based off my comfortability. It was mainly based off that the energy shift. There was a complete departure, and from there I had learned a lot, and it really just it's still with me for sure.
Right. Now, tell me, if for somebody, so I know that a lot of my audience and your audience as well are going to be people who are in the art space, whether it be,
Yeah.
painting, music, whatever it may be. What's something that you would advise them if they're starting off, like to just keep in mind, look out for, and to just, so that way they don't maybe stumble as hard as maybe you and I have.
Yeah, I hear you. For the one thing I didn't really do, I was so vulnerable and so willing to accept everything.
Mm.
I would say for the most part, one, keep your circle small.
Mhm.
Two, be present and really find time and really be present to everything that's going on around you, and even the people you're not only interacting with them online and even on social, whatever it is, you have to be patient and be consistent. Those two things are the main thing. That is actually what I'm doing today within social media, within playing drums. You have to be consistent and patient with everything you say or do, because eventually your time will come. But if you work hard and if you stay consistent and just perfecting it, you'll be great.
Yeah, I think that's hard for creative people to be, not only consistent but also patient.
Yeah.
And just in general, as human beings, we want to start at 100, and nobody's really
Yeah.
appreciating the 0, 1, 2, 3, just building that way up. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's very important. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who inspires you musically, please?
Oh man, there's a lot.
Well, let's give me like I don't know, like top two, three.
Top three in general, or like drummers, or in
Oh,
particular?
that's a good question. So why don't we do top two musically and then top two drummer wise?
Okay,
Yeah.
top two musically. I can't. I would honestly, the two working people that I look to, and that, like, say for instance, just the grind level. Uh, Nipsey Hussle.
Oh, me too. I've been obsessed.
Nipsey Hussle, and I would also say Jay-Z.
Mm.
Jay-Z.
Mhm.
There's so many more. There's so many more.
Right.
But for the two, I would put them there.
Mhm.
Two drummers that I look forward to, that I obviously look up to, I would say Travis Barker and Tony Royster Jr.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're awesome. Have you got to see them live?
I've seen Travis about 4 times live.
Mhm.
I've yet to see Tony play, but I need to. I've always been watching his videos for years, but I can definitely want to see him live.
Yeah, for sure. Tell me, how do you prepare to actually get on stage and I mean, so I saw you the other day at the Bronx Brewery, and I
Mhm.
didn't want to bother you because you were setting up and stuff, and I know people were coming up to you and talking to you, and I was like, I'm gonna just stand right here in the corner and just just watch, because I feel I'm that type of person that I don't mind people coming to talk to me, but if I'm preparing to do something, like I'm focused.
Right.
What is it that you do to get prepared to actually perform?
The main thing really is I would say stretches,
Mhm.
and just really uh, I would say just relaxing, just even if it's like a good, just taking in your breath, woosah, something just to really just put your time in there. Stretches from your arms to your wrist to even your legs. Uh, I like to just, keep the blood flowing with tons of water,
Mm.
just things to just really just know that I'm going to use my body and use my time and energy on. So I got to really like, if I'm doing like a 30-40 minute set, I'm going to just, make sure that everything is on point.
Yeah. What's the biggest audience you've been in front of?
Um, the biggest audience, Africa for sure,
Oh.
but I've also had opportunities to play Irving Plaza, Gramercy Theater,
Mm-hmm.
and I would say those two as well. Just those two mainly that really had great, almost sold out shows,
Nice.
And just to be able, like, say for instance, like for most drummers, when we're performing, like being on a stage, we're usually in the back. If we're playing with a live band and whatnot, we're usually in the back. So when we see the crowd and we see everything, that's a lot to take in.
Mm-hmm.
And for most people, they don't have that. They're in the outside looking in. But when you're in the inside looking out, it's a lot. And you're taking in everyone's energy that's in the room and even perfecting over what you're doing.
Right. You're trying to do like a million things at one time.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a lot, but it's worth it though.
Yeah. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're up to now?
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to hear what you have planned or would like to have accomplished in the future.
Okay. So what I'm currently up to right now, I'm currently updating my website. I'll keep you guys posted on when it's going to be launched. And for the most part, more gigs, more opportunities, learning to just, I would say, be more interactive within the outside. It was just mainly like connecting with other people and even like, say for instance, lately I've just been really touched by really working with the youth, really just really educating them and really just, getting in their mindsets to see where they are and what I can do to help them, motivate them in any sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
What do you see in the future for your music?
Touring,
Mm-hmm.
traveling, working with the right artists, musicians, and collaborating with the dopest brands, ambassadors. I would say a lot of just networking. I'm constantly doing that on a daily basis, but it's all in the works.
Right. So you heard Anthony. He's waiting for the call, right? Anthony, just tell us one more time, please, where we can find you so that our audience can go check you out.
Okay. So you can find me on Instagram. That is anthony.anderson.drums. And you can also find me on YouTube, all over social media. And I'm also I don't know. There's a lot. You can Google me.
It's all right. I'm going to put all that information on the screen because I know it. And then, yeah, go ahead.
Twitter as well.
Uh-huh.
I'm all over Twitter. I'm all and Facebook as well. So
yeah,
you guys can definitely find me there.
Yeah, I'm sure when I edit it, it'll be coming out somewhere here. Now, before I let you go, if you wouldn't mind just giving us a little send off, a little, I don't know, a little minute or so of just you just spitting some type of knowledge to us that's going to inspire us and really get us off the couch, really get us off that mindset of I can't do this and I can't do that. Something that'll just put us in our place and say, you know what, look at Anthony, awesome dude that just really restructured his life, and now I'm going to get up and do the same thing. If you would, please.
For the most part, every day, especially, for me, it's a struggle. I can't say that, everything is perfect online and, it looks perfect. It looks great, but it's not what I'm dealing with on a daily basis. It's not who I am. And what I want to be and what I want to, encourage people and put out there and into place is really just, you can do anything you put your mind to. That's one. And you can really just know what your worth is. for the most part, I tell people, you know, I get a lot of people telling me, you know, how do you do this or how do you do that? It's really more of just doing it, you know? A lot of people are afraid of it. They're afraid to open up their minds. They're afraid to speak their mind. And even I am to a certain extent. And I'm still learning that. And I'm not afraid to say that. It's really just taking accountability of it and doing it. Every day I think about music, everything that I'm into that is going to just encourage me to not only become a better person, but to be better in my everyday life. What I want to tell people is to just not give up. Never give up on anything you put your mind to. You know, you have one life to live. Everything you want to do in your life, you have to make it work. You have to make it count. And that's my best advice for you guys.
No, that's awesome. I love it. Yeah, because I think a lot of us are too used to giving up. Yeah, it's too much of a norm, and it puts us in a bad place. But Anthony, humbled by this interview, just because I'm a fan, you know. So I'm super humbled. And then just what we discussed right now is even more humbling because it helps push the message out there. You know, like we gotta keep going and we gotta keep making it happen. Thank you so much, Anthony, for being on the channel. I'm sure I'm going to see you around because we're always roaming the Bronx.
Oh yeah, definitely. Anything for the Bronx at this point.
Of course. So I'll see you around. Thank you so much. And to my audience, please go support Anthony. This is very important to help out artists and influencers and people who really want just the best for you, the best for us. I mean, there's enough for all of us. There's enough energy. There's enough happiness. There's enough money. There's enough peace. There's enough everything all around for all of us. Don't let them fool you and think like, yo, there's not enough, because I think that's one of the biggest cons that's out there.
Yes, for sure.
Anthony, I appreciate you one more time.
Thank you.
To my audience, thank you so much, and I'll catch you around in the next episode. See ya. Later, Anthony.
Later, brother.
Pressure to not distress, even though niggas ain't sure we was a mess. Honest attempt playing to the left. Judge a young nigga by their dress. Left us no option, what they expect. Only thing we knew for sure is the bang is set. Fuck living basic, I'm taking risks. Fuck what they saying, I'm saying this. Don't waste your time, it don't make you rich, it don't mean nothing, so fuck them, let's make a grip. Double up, triple up, make assist. Ballin' so hard you can play a bitch.